What if the strongest move after heartbreak is silence? Not words, not begging, not desperate attempts to fix what is broken, but silence. Every man who has ever been left behind knows the chaos that comes in those first nights. The racing thoughts, the images of her with someone else, the desperate urge to reach out, to send a message, to hear her voice just once more. This is the trap, the emotional quicksand that keeps men enslaved to women who have already walked away. But here is the truth few dare to face. Chasing never works. Begging never works. Pouring your soul out never rekindles attraction. It smothers it. Every desperate action you take confirms what she already suspects, that she has all the power and you have none. Now contrast that with something far rarer. A man who does not chase. A man who, instead of shattering under rejection, withdraws. He goes silent. He detaches. He does the unthinkable. He disappears. At first, she may scoff. She may feel relief. But as days turn into weeks, something begins to gnaw at her. Why hasn't he reached out? Why isn't he begging like every other man? Did she lose someone greater than she realized? This is not a trick. This is not manipulation. This is Stoic power in motion. The ancient Stoics taught that the only true freedom is control over the self. The no-contact rule, when embraced through this lens, is not a tactic to win her back. It is the ultimate exercise of masculine self-command. You are teaching yourself to master your emotions, to break the chains of attachment, and to rediscover the strength she thought she could take from you. Dark psychology confirms what the Stoics already knew. Human beings crave what withdraws from them. When you vanish into silence, you are no longer a man chasing validation. You become a mystery, an unsolvable question mark that lingers in her mind. And the irony is brutal. The more she thought she had you, the more she begins to doubt herself once you no longer pursue her. This is why silence is not weakness. It is thunder. It is a storm inside her conscience. It is the quiet confidence of a man who does not need anyone's approval to stand tall. The man who holds his ground unmoved becomes unforgettable. So the choice is before you. Will you be another man who crumbles under rejection? Or will you take the harder, colder, but infinitely stronger path, the Stoic path of silence? If you're done handing away your power, if you're ready to let your absence speak louder than your words ever could, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence is my power. Now let's begin. Number 1. Pain is the teacher. Pain is the doorway. The heartbreak you feel right now isn't just a wound, it's a summons. It's life calling you to rise or to crumble. Most men run from pain. They drown it in alcohol, chase meaningless pleasures, scroll endlessly, or jump into rebound relationships just to silence the storm inside. But the Stoics understood something sharper, something eternal. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your master instructor. It exposes what you've ignored, it burns away illusions, and it demands that you grow stronger than you were yesterday. When she left, she didn't just walk away with your love. She handed you the very fire that will forge your transformation. That emptiness you feel right now, it's not weakness, it's potential. That ache in your chest, that is raw energy waiting to be reshaped. Think of the blacksmith. The metal is useless until it is shattered and remade in the fire. The heartbreak is your fire, and you are the steel. Every tear, every restless night, every racing thought is the hammer striking you into something unbreakable. And here's the hidden layer most men never see. In her mind, she believes she crushed you. She expects the messages, the pleading, the desperate attempts to prove your worth. She expects you to shatter, because that's what most men do. And when you crumble, It validates her decision to leave. It proves her power. But when you do the unthinkable, when you embrace the pain without letting it rule you, you rob her of that power. You become a mirror she doesn't want to face, because instead of seeing a broken man, she sees a man becoming dangerous, disciplined, and untouchable. This is dark psychology at its core. The human mind cannot process losing control over what it once dominated. The moment you turn your pain inward and refine it into strength, you stop being predictable, you stop being safe, you become the man who refuses to break. And nothing haunts a woman more than realizing the man she left behind is the man she can no longer affect. Pain is the teacher. It's teaching you that heartbreak isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of your rebirth. And the final lesson is brutal but freeing. You never truly lost her. She lost you. Number 2, control is masculine power. In the aftermath of heartbreak, the man who loses control loses everything. He becomes consumed by impulse, texting, calling, begging for closure, pleading for answers. But each action only reveals his desperation. Each message only proves her decision right. Control, in Stoic philosophy, is the essence of freedom. To master your emotions is to master your destiny. When you step into no contact, you seize back the one thing she thought she owned, your response. She expected tears, calls at midnight, maybe even rage. Instead, she's met with silence. And that silence isn't weakness, it's power. Because in that stillness, you are teaching yourself that your mind belongs to you and no one else. Dark psychology confirms this. The one who controls his emotions controls the frame. The one who controls the frame controls the outcome. A woman may think she holds power by leaving, but that illusion shatters when you refuse to break character. By holding your composure, by staying unshaken, you flip the dynamic. Suddenly, it's not you who's spiraling, it's her. Control is rare. Most men cave to the storm of their emotions, but the man who stands firm, the man who refuses to be ruled by impulses, becomes untouchable. That is the man she replays in her mind at night. That is the man she cannot forget. Stoicism demands discipline. Dark psychology demands restraint. Together, they form the foundation of masculine power. And when you live by that code, your silence becomes a weapon sharper than any words you could ever speak. Number 3, silence is the loudest response. Words are cheap. After a breakup, most men believe they can talk their way back into her heart. Endless explanations, long apologies, desperate promises. But the truth is, the more you speak, the weaker you sound. Silence, however, is deafening. It is the one response she cannot predict, the one reaction that forces her to confront herself. When you go silent, you create a void. And in psychology, voids demand to be filled. Your absence echoes louder than your presence ever did. While you rebuild in silence, her mind begins to spiral with questions. Why isn't he reaching out? Did he replace me already? Does he no longer care? The very silence that protects your dignity becomes the storm in her head. Stoic wisdom teaches that the wise man does not waste words where they have no effect. To remain silent in the face of chaos is to show mastery over the self. You are no longer reacting, you are choosing. And that choice radiates strength. Dark psychology magnifies this effect. Uncertainty breeds obsession. The moment you stop explaining yourself, you become a mystery. The human mind craves closure, but your silence denies it. And the denial of closure is often more powerful than any words of reconciliation. Silence, then, is not emptiness. It is presence amplified. It is the quiet that unsettles, the calm that disorients, the absence that becomes unforgettable. In silence, you are no longer a man chasing. You are a man commanding attention without a single word. Number 4. Detachment creates respect. Attachment makes men weak. When you cling, when you beg, when you orbit her like a lost planet around a dying sun, you strip yourself of dignity. Respect cannot survive in the soil of desperation. She cannot respect what she controls. And in her mind, a man who cannot let go is not a man. He is a shadow. Detachment is the antidote. To step back with composure, to withdraw without anger or pleading, is to show her something few men ever show: strength rooted in self-sufficiency. The Stoics lived by this law: nothing outside of you is truly yours, and nothing external should ever dictate your inner peace. When you embody this truth, you rise above the drama. You stop needing her validation because you have returned to your own center. And here's the dark psychology at play. People respect distance. The less you demand from her, the more she begins to feel your value. When you detach, you no longer feed her ego, and without that steady stream of attention, the balance shifts. She begins to feel the weight of your absence, and with it, a recognition of your worth. A detached man is dangerous because he cannot be controlled. He does not argue, he does not chase, he does not crumble. He simply removes his energy, and in doing so, he forces respect. Even if she won't admit it, deep inside she feels it, because detachment is power, and power commands acknowledgement. Respect does not come from giving her everything. It comes from showing her you do not need her at all. Number 5. Scarcity elevates your worth. What is taken for granted is always devalued. What is rare is always desired. This is not just philosophy, it is human psychology. When you were always available, always answering, always present, she stopped seeing your value. Familiarity breeds contempt, and your constant presence became background noise. But when you vanish, when you cut contact completely, you trigger the law of scarcity. Your attention, once abundant, becomes rare. Your presence, once assumed, becomes uncertain. And suddenly, what was ignored becomes valuable again. It is human nature. People only realize the worth of water when the well runs dry. The Stoics knew this truth in a deeper way. They taught that a man must never hand out his energy freely to those who do not honor it. Your time, your focus, your presence. These are treasures, not to be squandered. By withdrawing them, you are not being petty. You are restoring their value. Dark psychology makes it sharper. Scarcity creates obsession. The less she can access you, the more her mind works to rationalize why. She will replay memories, scan for signs, wonder if she miscalculated. And as her uncertainty grows, so does her desire to reconnect with what is no longer within reach. Scarcity is not about manipulation. It is about alignment. A king does not wander the streets begging to be seen. His presence is limited and therefore priceless. By becoming scarce, you remind her that you are not a commodity. You are the prize. Number 6. Withdrawal is attraction. Human beings are drawn to what pulls away. It's a paradox, but it's written into our psychology. The moment you withdraw your energy, you create a vacuum, and that vacuum demands to be filled. While you were giving endlessly, she felt no hunger. But when you pull back, when you vanish without explanation, desire begins to stir again. This is the essence of the no-contact rule through Stoic masculine power. You are no longer chasing. You are no longer pouring yourself into someone who discarded you. Instead, you become the one who chooses to step away. And in that withdrawal, you shift from the pursuer to the prize. The Stoics taught that desire itself is dangerous, but when disciplined, it becomes a weapon. By withdrawing, you strip her of the attention she once consumed effortlessly, and in its absence, she begins to crave what she thought would always be hers. Attraction is reborn not through effort, but through absence. Dark psychology confirms this dynamic. People do not chase what chases them, they chase what escapes them. The moment you cut the cord, you ignite her curiosity. Why isn't he reaching out? Did I lose him forever? Is he already beyond me? Those questions gnaw at her, and the more they echo, the more attraction begins to rebuild. Withdrawal is not weakness, it is gravity. It pulls at her in silence, drawing her back toward what she thought she had conquered. And the more still you remain, the stronger the pull becomes. Number 7. Building the Stoic self. No contact is not just about her, it's about you. It is the pause that allows you to turn inward, to reclaim the man you neglected while chasing someone who did not value him. Heartbreak is the test, but the rebuilding is the reward. The silence you create outwardly must now be matched with discipline inwardly. The Stoics believed the highest victory was victory over the self. This is your moment to embody that truth. Instead of drowning in memory, you rise in action. You train your body, you sharpen your mind, you fortify your spirit. The man she left behind was not the finished version, he was raw stone. Now you begin the carving, the chiseling, the refining, until the man that stands in the mirror is a weapon, a king, a presence that commands respect without a word. And here's the psychology at work. When you rebuild, you rewrite the narrative. You are no longer the abandoned one. You are the man who used abandonment as the spark of transformation. That story is magnetic. That story is unforgettable. While she remains the same, you evolve, and evolution is the deepest form of revenge. Discipline becomes your new lover. Strength becomes your new companion. Purpose becomes your obsession. And as you rise, the silence between you grows heavier, not just because you are gone, but because you are becoming something greater in your absence. Building the Stoic self is the heart of no contact. It is no longer about what she feels. It is about who you are becoming. And once you rise to that level, the question is no longer whether she regrets losing you. It's whether she could ever deserve you again. Number 8. Time works in your favor. Time is the ally of the disciplined man. In the first days of no contact, the silence feels unbearable. The temptation to break it, to reach out, to relieve the tension, it gnaws at you. But what you must understand is this. Every day you hold the line, time is working for you. In her world, time twists differently. At first, she may feel relief. She may even convince herself she made the right choice. But as the days stretch into weeks and the weeks into months, the silence grows heavier. What was once absence becomes presence, a presence in her mind she cannot shake. She begins to wonder, why hasn't he reached out? Did I mean nothing? Has he already moved on? That uncertainty multiplies with time, and uncertainty is the root of attraction. The Stoics knew that patience was not passive, it was power. The man who can wait without breaking proves he is master of himself. Every moment you resist the urge to reach out, you reinforce your frame. Every second you choose stillness over reaction, you become stronger. Time exposes the weak and glorifies the disciplined. And in dark psychology, the passage of time amplifies scarcity. The longer you remain silent, the rarer you become. Each day without your presence reminds her of what she lost, and that realization grows sharper with every passing hour. Time is not erasing you, it is engraving you deeper into her mind. While she is ruled by emotion, you are ruled by patience. And in the end, patience always outlasts impulse. Time, in silence, is the invisible hand that tilts the balance of power back into yours. Number 9. The return of power. There comes a moment in no contact when the balance shifts. At first, she believed she held all the power, She walked away, and you were left behind. But with every day of silence, with every ounce of composure you maintain, the scales begin to tip. And eventually, the power that once sat in her hands flows back into yours. This is the hidden reward of Stoic self-control. By refusing to beg, you deny her the validation she expected. By refusing to chase, you starve her ego of the attention it craved. And by standing firm in silence, you show her something rare, a man who does not collapse under rejection, but grows stronger because of it. That presence is magnetic. That resilience is unforgettable. From the lens of dark psychology, this is where regret begins to set in. The human mind clings hardest to what it cannot control. When she realizes you no longer need her, that your life is moving forward without her, she begins to feel the loss. And the bitter truth is this: the moment she sees you living free, confident, and untouchable is the moment she wishes she never let you go. The return of power isn't loud. It doesn't come with words or confrontation. It arrives quietly, through your actions, through your growth, through the unshakable calm you embody. True power is not in proving her wrong. It's in no longer caring whether she sees it at all. When you stop needing her, she feels it. And in that moment, she is no longer the one in control. You are. Number 10. Mastery through no contact. No contact is not just a tactic. It is not a trick to win someone back. It is a philosophy, a way of living rooted in self-respect, discipline, and masculine strength. When you walk this path fully, you discover that the victory was never about her. It was always about you. The Stoics taught that the only true freedom is mastery over the self. By holding the line of silence, by refusing to break under the weight of longing, you prove that you are not a slave to impulse. You prove that your emotions do not own you, you own them. That is the foundation of real masculine power. And from the perspective of dark psychology, this is where you become unforgettable. The man who can detach, rebuild, and rise becomes an archetype burned into memory. She may never admit it, but she will feel it. Your silence will echo, your absence will haunt, and your transformation will command respect, even from those who once doubted you. But here's the real truth. The greatest outcome of no contact is not her regret. It is your rebirth. You no longer live to be chosen. You live as if you are already enough. You no longer chase validation. You radiate it from within. You no longer ask for love. You become love grounded in strength, dignity, and unshakable composure. This is mastery, not of her, not of the situation, but of yourself. And once you master yourself, no one can ever hold power over you again. You've now seen the truth. Pain was your teacher, control was your weapon, silence became your voice, detachment restored your respect, scarcity elevated your worth, withdrawal turned into attraction. And while you rebuilt yourself in discipline, time worked in your favor, returning the power she thought she had stolen. This is the essence of no contact, not as a petty tactic, but as a philosophy. It is the fusion of Stoic wisdom and dark psychology, a discipline that transforms heartbreak into strength, silence into thunder, and absence into undeniable presence. The greatest victory is not that she regrets losing you. The greatest victory is that you no longer need her, that you have become whole, powerful, and untouchable in yourself. Because when you master your emotions, you master your life. And once you live from that place, no one, no betrayal, no rejection, no loss can ever break you again. So now the question is yours. Will you continue to bleed for someone who walked away? Or will you step into the silence and rise as the man you were always meant to be? If you're done chasing ghosts, if you're ready to reclaim your power, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below, "I am untouchable." Thanks for watching Stoic Blessing.